Things are not looking good for Joseph Biden once again. Now, the last time we spoke about Biden, we talked about how essentially Mike Bloomberg has invested, a $1 billion gamble into hoping that Joe Biden is able to defeat Donald Trump. But these pesky allegations from Tara Reade are starting to rear their ugly head once again. I see Politico now mentioning these allegations. It's starting to get extremely real for Joe Biden. And having not really been battle tested up until this point, being hid from the media, and now this shelter-in-place order that's keeping many reporters from, simply asking these questions to Joe Biden face to face. He's really kind of dodged a bullet, but it looks like that's not going to be acceptable much longer. A clip from the Larry King show, the classic Larry King, I think it was called Larry King Live, has finally emerged, where a woman who was now being told, who was said to be Tara Reade's mother, called in asking about how a staffer is supposed to respond if they are approached by someone in the position of power, like a senator, like a Joe Biden might have been in at one point.
San Luis Obispo, California. Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm wondering what a staffer would do besides go to the press in Washington. My daughter has just left there after working for a prominent senator and could not get through with her problems at all. And the only thing she could have done was go to the press, and she chose not to do it out of respect for him.
Or she had a story to tell, but out of respect for the person she worked for, she didn't tell it.
That's true.
Huh. That's fascinating.
So that's the official old tape. Just really kind of presenting the scenario that we were in. We talked about Alyssa Milano kind of distancing herself from these allegations, saying that, that apparently they seem to be not credible, unfounded at the time. So we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to stick with my support for Joe Biden because I've known him longer. But that's not the message of the Me Too movement. That has not been the message up until now for the most part. It's simply believe women. But we're at a point now where the women who are making the accusations aren't making accusations against Republicans who are unliked. It's against the presumptive Democratic nominee and pretty much their only chance to get rid of Donald Trump. So Reade said she told 4 Biden aides, including Dennis Toner, a senior staffer, and then Chief of Staff Ted Kaufman, about inappropriate behavior by Biden, but not the alleged can I say penetration? I don't know if I can, but afterwards, she said she was stripped of most of her duties and later given a month to find another job at the instruction of Kaufman, who denies her account, along with Toner and 2 others in the office. No other Biden staffers have corroborated the assault and alleged harassment allegations to the media. She did not come to me. I would have remembered her if she had. No, I do not remember, and I do not remember her, Kaufman said. Kaufman was appointed to Biden's Senate seat in 2009 after Biden was elected vice president and served until 2010. Toner, who worked for 30 years for Biden, said, "I can't believe there's any truth to this whatsoever. It's out of character. It was never alleged. It makes no sense. And if anyone says I had a conversation about this whatsoever, it's false. This never happened." Now, again, this is why this phone call is incredibly important, because it corroborates a statement that this was something that was presented. Now, I imagine having this conversation with anybody you work with would be difficult, but I have to say it would be equally difficult to have a similar conversation with your mother. So if her mom is making this phone call on her behalf, it's not looking good. And more importantly, there's a guy on the other side who really wants to make sure that Joe Biden loses. And that guy happens to be Donald Trump. And we all know that he's willing to say whatever it takes to win.
It is in our self-interest that China continue to prosper.
What a beautiful history we wrote together.
Banning all travel will not stop it.
The president is right. That travel restriction on China, as every public health official we've talked to said, bought the country time.
That was a very smart move right there.
Hysterical xenophobia. Fear mine. Xenophobia. I complimented him on dealing with China. I'm not going nuts.
this is just not making it any easier. You know what I mean? It's one thing to just try to discredit Trump, but the other thing is you have to make yourself look like a better candidate. Reade's brother, Colin Moulton, confirmed to other media outlets that his sister told him in real time about the assault and harassment when she said they occurred. He didn't return calls and messages seeking out comment for the story. Biden has denied the allegations in a statement from Kate Bedingfield, his deputy campaign manager and communications director. Vice President Biden has dedicated his life to changing the culture and the laws around violence against women. He's authored and fought for the passage of reauthorization of the landmark Violence Act against women. He firmly believes that women have a right to be heard and heard respectfully, Bedingfield said. Such claims have been diligently reviewed by an independent press. What is clear about this claim, it is untrue. This absolutely did not happen. Now, initially said that she was dismissed because the timing of these allegations seemed incredibly suspicious. She was a supporter of Bernie Sanders, but she also said she was in support of Marianne Williamson and Elizabeth Warren in the Democratic primary, which segues us to a new poll that has found that Elizabeth Warren is the VP pick most likely to pull in Bernie Sanders voters. Now, the rumbles online are that, that Elizabeth Warren is no progressive. She has no real relation to Bernie Sanders whatsoever. But the reality is there is this actual group of progressives, the people who are not online, the people who don't follow this whole litmus test of the purity test that seem to be coming up quite a bit. And I think that those people who are looking for that female candidate, those people who are looking for, somebody who has a little bit more energy. I mean, despite what we might feel about Elizabeth Warren, she definitely brought it in the debates. We saw her slam Mayor Pete with the initial wine cave comment, which was later taken to the next level by Andrew J. But she had a lot of really big moments. She had that one. She had the one with Bloomberg as well, when she called Bloomberg out for calling women horse-faced lesbians. Warren can absolutely deliver the thing that Joe Biden doesn't have, which is energy, excitement, a base that might really get behind her. And still being able to, say that he's making history. He's already said that he openly is looking to bring in a woman. And while there are other names out there, Elizabeth Warren is definitely one of the more popular ones, right? The former vice president has already announced that he will choose a woman as running mate and plans to form a committee to start vetting candidates by May 1st. So that's just a few days away. In a new poll, the left-wing Data for Progress tested the strength of 5 potential vice presidential candidates on their ability to generate excitement among different types of Democratic voters. The survey found that Democrats as a whole, and notably supporters of Sanders, rated Warren highest in terms of their likelihood to vote for the Democratic presidential ticket. So, by the numbers, 61% of Sanders voters said they would be more likely to support Biden if Warren is the nominee, while just 9% said it would make them less likely to back the former vice president. Warren's 52-point advantage is far larger than those for the other candidates. Harris, who holds the second largest appeal to Sanders voters, has just 34-point advantage. So that is a significant difference. And what more can progressives really hope to obtain in this particular election? I mean, obviously the concessions that Biden seems to be offering are kind of minimal, but given the age and the position, as far as his mental faculties are concerned with Joe Biden, the VP pick in this particular election is going to be incredibly important. Now, while I think that Amy Klobuchar might be a decent candidate, a decent pick, she's definitely no Elizabeth Warren. She doesn't bring in that progressive voice. And I think that despite the fact that Elizabeth Warren does come from a state that really doesn't offer anything additional, that was kind of the appeal to bringing in someone from Michigan, okay, well, we can shore up Michigan by bringing in a VP. It's no Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren is a star. She does have energy. She is somebody that I think, despite her, having her opposition to Bernie, despite her issue where she kind of called him out, saying that he said a woman couldn't be president, I think that the larger progressive base is going to be willing to compromise. And according to the data, that just seems to be what it is. Put it like this. Who do you want Joe Biden going to war with against Donald Trump with in his corner? Gretchen Whitmer, Stacey Abrams, Kamala Harris, or Elizabeth Warren. And just to show you that Donald Trump does not care about what he says and who he will say it to disparage, we have Donald Trump Jr. going on a tirade yesterday on Twitter with several tweets, including this gem. Joe Biden isn't sheltering in place in his basement bunker because of the pandemic. He's hiding from Tara Reade. That's just one. Far too few people are recognizing Tara Reade's sheer bravery in sharing her story today. That must not be overlooked. And this is in response to Nancy Pelosi tweeting, far too people are recognizing Dr. Ford's sheer bravery in sharing her story today. And this is talking about the Kavanaugh hearings. And then he follows things up once again with, shockingly, the words Tara Reade are nowhere to be found in this New York Times puff piece on creepy Joe Biden's campaign. But don't worry, guys. There's a lot of tough reporting in here, like Joe Biden having dinner with his wife and going on bike rides in response to this interview that Joe Biden conducted, I guess, with the New York Times. So the Trump campaign is absolutely ready. Again, everyone's got money. They have nowhere to spend it right now. And Donald Trump is just going to simply lob attack after attack after attack after attack against Joe Biden, who already has so much going on in his past. He has the Obama legacy that people don't like. He has his son in Ukraine, he had which sparked the impeachment hearings, and then he has an open assault allegation. So, and I think that the further we go along into this campaign, the more we start revealing about Joe Biden, his true character, his true past, and honestly, where he is currently, there's just not much to look forward to. So Elizabeth Warren may ultimately be the bright light that people are looking for, because right now, the Democrats have given you nothing to vote for. And while many people might simply be saying, you know what, I'm ready to form a new party, I'm ready to just back off this Democratic train altogether, there is still this gut feeling that people are starting to feel where, well, they still feel like the president's dangerous and they got to get him out of the office. So what's the alternative? While it might seem like, you know what, I want to stand for my principles, I don't want to vote for Joe Biden. Do you really want to help Donald Trump win? And that's not for me to question you. Those are questions you have to ask yourself. And for most of America, according to the numbers, they don't want Donald Trump they don't want him to be president. But do they really want Joe Biden to be president? Is Elizabeth Warren Joe Biden's best bet? I would honestly have to say there's no one else.